One exam, 9 days. Gary is locked in a wooden box in the rain, writing the most important essay of his life, and the man 3 cells down has just left over the wall, rolled in a mat. Feet first, the exam continues. It is Nanjing in the year 1756, and Gary is taking the Imperial Civil Service examination. Pass, and he becomes an official of the empire. Salary, silk robes, servants, and legal privileges for life. Fail, and he can try again in 3 years. Most people fail. Out of every 100 men locked in these boxes, roughly 1 will pass. Gary likes those odds because Gary has not done the math. Day 1. Before the box comes the gate, and before the gate comes the search. Soldiers go through Gary's hair. They go through the seams of his clothes. They slice his food open in case the buns contain opinions. They inspect his inkstones and his brushes. They are looking for what everyone is looking for, the classics, smuggled in. They are right to look. Cheat equipment from these exams still exists, and it is magnificent. One surviving silk garment carries 722 complete essays, written over every inch of it, inside and out in script so small it is named after the head of a fly. Other candidates simply hired a scholar who looked vaguely like them to sit the exam instead. The Empire responded with identity checks, guarantors, and body searches. It is an arms race, and it has been running for centuries. Gary is clean. Gary is waved through. Gary immediately wishes he was not. Inside the compound, there are 20,644 cells, in long brick rows like a filing cabinet for humans. Each cell is open at the front, closed on 3 sides, and slightly smaller than a modern parking space is wide. The furniture is 2 wooden boards. The upper board is a desk. The lower board is a chair. At night, Gary slides them together, and the desk becomes his bed. It does not become a good bed. Gary has brought everything himself. Food for 3 days, a kettle, a blanket, candles, and a bucket. The bucket's job will become clear. The great gate is sealed behind him. It will not open for 3 days and 2 nights. It does not open for illness. It does not open for weather. As the gentleman in the mat has demonstrated, it does not open for death. Guards patrol the rows, and a watchtower watches everything forever. Day 2. The questions arrive, and they are about the classics. Gary has spent his life memorizing them. The core texts run to roughly 400,000 characters, and the exam expects exact recall of all of it. His answer must follow the famous 8-part structure in regulation form and stay under 700 characters. There are no points for imagination. There are penalties for it. So Gary writes, around him 20,000 brushes scratch at once, which is the loudest silence in the empire. It rains through the night, and Gary learns why veterans bring oilcloth. The cell has a roof, but the roof has hobbies. Men weep quietly in the dark. One man laughs once and does not explain. Somewhere down the row, a candle sets an essay on fire, and a life's work becomes light and heat. Day 3. Gary hands in his papers and crawls out of the box, 3 days older and several years worse. And here, the Empire reveals its sense of humor. This was session 1. There are 3. Gary gets 1 day to recover, and then the gate seals again. 9 days of examination, 6 nights on a desk, in a box, in the rain. Day 9. Gary emerges for the last time, walking like a question mark, and his papers begin a journey stranger than his. First, his name is pasted over, so no examiner can see it. Then, an office of clerks copies his entire exam out again in red ink, every character, so no examiner can recognize his handwriting either. The graders never touched the original. The Empire does not trust Gary, but the good news is it does not trust the graders either. Then the list goes up on the wall, and 20,000 men look for their name at the same time. Gary's name is not on it. Gary is in excellent company. The list has no age limit and no mercy, and failing it is a respectable career. Men sit this exam in their 50s, their 60s, their 70s. In one exam year, a single province counted 35 candidates over the age of 80 and 18 over 90. And the Empire, in its way, is fair about it. Fail every attempt for an entire lifetime, and at 80 they award you the degree anyway, for endurance. Gary considers his options. The next exam is in 3 years. His neighbors already assume he will sit it. His mother has already told the village he is practically an official. The system Gary just survived will run for around 1,300 years in total until it is abolished in 1905. And when Britain finally introduced exams for its own civil service in 1855, it was borrowing the idea from China. Europe looked at the box and the rain and the bucket and concluded correctly that this was the most modern idea on Earth. They kept the exam. They quietly lost the box. Gary's troubles are not confined to one century. History is long and Gary lives in all of it.